When 17-year-old Cassie walked into a room full of leather-clad bikers and asked to ride with them, the laughter was instant. But when her father's motorcycle thundered into the parking lot moments later, every joke died because the patch on his jacket told a story none of them could ignore. The door to Rusty's bar groaned open, letting in autumn sunlight. Cassie stepped inside, sneakers squeaking, and every conversation died. At barely 5 feet 1 inch and 17, with her hair in a ponytail and a worn notebook clutched to her chest, she looked lost. The Iron Wolves Motorcycle Club had gathered for their weekly meeting. "Lost sweetheart," a bearded man called out. Cassie's heart hammered. "I'm looking for the Iron Wolves. I have a proposal." Derek, a younger member with tattooed arms, leaned back. "This ought to be good. I'm a senior at Lincoln High. For my final project, I'm documenting American subcultures. I want to ride with you." The room erupted. "Honey, this ain't a petting zoo," an older woman named Maria said. Then a sound cut through everything. The deep rumble of a Harley-Davidson. The laughter stopped. Graham walked in. He was 58 with silver in his beard and eyes that had seen things most people couldn't imagine. His leather cut was faded, patches stitched with care. On his back, founding member 1971. "Dad," Cassie said quietly. The word landed like a grenade. "You didn't laugh at a founding member's daughter." Graham moved beside her. "You want to tell them, or should I?" "My project isn't just about motorcycles. It's about what happens when soldiers come home and the world doesn't make sense anymore. It's about the men who gave my father a reason to keep breathing when the VA couldn't." Graham's voice was rough. 71. "I came back from Saigon with more ghosts than memories. These men gave me purpose, a family when I couldn't recognize my own." Hank stood slowly. "The girl wants to understand. Maybe that's not the worst thing." "It's club business," Derek argued. "It's everything," Cassie said. "I want to understand the thing that gave me back my father." Maria's expression softened. Even Derek couldn't find a comeback. "It won't be easy," Graham said. "Being my daughter gets you in the door. Everything after that is on you." Hank raised his beer. "Then I say we give her a shot." The first ride nearly broke her. At a rest area, Maria offered water. 78. "My husband died on this highway. I showed up to his memorial ride, wearing his cut. Took 2 years before they stopped treating me like a ghost." "How did you change their minds?" "Just kept showing up." At a diner, Hank told her about his brother Jimmy, who died 3 months after they bought matching bikes. Graham dragged me to a ride. I learned what these men really are. People who understand that grief is easier when you're moving forward. Derek sat next to Cassie. "You know what happens when outsiders write about us? They get it wrong. If I do this wrong, I'm not just failing a class. I'm failing him," Cassie said, meeting his eyes. Derek looked away first. That night, Graham took a call. When he returned, Hank intercepted him. "That who I think it was?" "Tommy heard about the project. Wants to talk." The name rippled through the room. Tommy, a name mentioned rarely. After 15 years? Maria asked. "Tommy's got no business here," Derek said. "He made his choice." "Maybe it's time to revisit them," Graham said. Tommy arrived on a Thursday. Before Cassie could speak, Graham's truck pulled in. Her father emerged, froze, then walked toward the clubhouse. "Graham." "Tommy." Finally, Graham exhaled. "You want coffee?" Within an hour, the clubhouse filled. Derek was last to arrive. "Didn't think I'd see you again," Derek said. "I heard about the project. Made me realize our history includes the parts we don't talk about." "My father died believing you betrayed this club," Derek said. Tommy didn't flinch. "Your father and I disagreed. I wanted us to help other vets coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. He thought that made us social workers instead of riders. You wanted to change everything. I wanted us to evolve." Graham spoke quietly, and I said nothing. When you two were tearing each other apart, I stayed neutral. My silence was a choice. You were my best friend, Graham. 20 years of riding together. I needed you. "I know." Hank cleared his throat. "For what it's worth, We did start that veteran outreach program 3 years after you left. Tommy looked stunned. You did? Wasn't the same without you, Maria added. But yeah, we help transition vets now. We never told you, Graham said. Pride, I guess. Derek walked out. Later, Cassie discovered her father and Tommy in the garage, working on an old Sportster. They moved in synchronized silence. Then Graham's shoulders shook, and Cassie realized he was crying. Tommy gripped the back of his neck, and they stood there, holding each other up. Cassie didn't write any of this down. Some moments weren't meant for documentation. Outside, she found Derek on his bike. He's not the villain you need him to be, Cassie said. My dad spent his last year angry. Derek's voice cracked. I thought if I kept that anger alive, I was honoring him. Maybe honoring him means letting it go. You're tougher than you look. Your project, when it's done, I want to read it. 3 weeks later, Graham called an emergency meeting. We moved the memorial ride up. Make it bigger this year. Why the rush? Because waiting for things to be perfect means they never happen. We've got Tommy back. We got Cassie documenting who we really are. The vote was unanimous. The night before the ride, Maria asked Cassie to come to the clubhouse. The core members were there. On the table lay Graham's original cut. What you've done goes beyond any school project, Maria said. You brought us back together. Graham picked up the cut. This has been mine for 54 years. He held it out to Cassie. I want you to have it. Dad, I can't. You can. Maria produced her sewing kit and began stitching Cassie's name beneath Graham's. Legacy isn't about the past staying frozen, Tommy said. It's about being carried forward by someone worthy. The memorial ride began at dawn. 73 motorcycles gathered, the largest turnout in Iron Wolf history. Cassie wore the cut with pride. She rode beside Graham at the front, Tommy on his other side. At the cemetery, Cassie stepped forward. I came to the Iron Wolves to study a subculture, but what I found was a family built from broken pieces. Men and women who learned that the opposite of war isn't peace, it's connection. She read excerpts, then something new. Tommy left because he believed in growth. Derek's father stayed because he believed in preservation. They were both trying to protect the same sacred thing. Legacy isn't choosing between past and future. It's stitching them together and refusing to let the thread break. Tommy and Derek stood side by side. When Cassie finished, they clasped hands. Not a resolution, but a beginning. Derek approached afterward. You coming back this summer? We could use help with the outreach program. Cassie looked at her father, who smiled. Your choice, kiddo. She touched the patch on her back. Yeah, I'll be back. That night, Cassie titled her project, Brotherhood, A Legacy in Motion. Outside, she heard her father's Harley start, joined by another engine. Through the window, she saw Tommy pull up beside him. They exchanged nods, then rode off together. Two old friends reclaiming miles they'd lost. Some journeys never really end. They just keep moving forward, carrying everyone brave enough to hold on,